Hey there, Nancy here, and today I'm going to talk about, in fact, this could be a quick one. I just want to talk about some subtle shifts, right, that you can take, right, little tweaks you can make in your efforts, right, on LinkedIn to get more traction, right, get more sales, get more phone calls, get more out of just what you're currently doing if all you're doing is posting content. Okay. Content is one very important layer, right, of the LinkedIn layer cake we talk about. But it's not the only thing, right? We have to do certain things in addition to make sure that we are creating an amazing space for our audience and for the people that we're connecting with to connect with us, to build more know, like, and trust. Okay, so that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to talk a little bit more about the things outside of just basic posting content. We're also going to talk about, really three, again, little shifts that we can do to really help you show up the right way on LinkedIn and to get the most out of it. So let's dive right on in. And I do want to give a little reminder. We are doing a workshop at the end of this month, right? So coming up soon, all around scaling your business using LinkedIn, right? If you guys know Scott and I, right, we focus on LinkedIn. It's really the heart of everything that we do. We like to teach LinkedIn in a way where you can really build, grow, and scale. But also, right, in our workshop, we're going to teach how you can take people off the LinkedIn platform and lead them into your business a little more thorough, right? I'm going to be kind of quick today, giving you a few different points, but the workshop is really where we're going to dive in. It's a 5-day workshop, guys. It's free. We've actually charged for it in the past, but this year we're doing it for free. It's an hour each day, but it is coming up on the 22nd to the 26th, and it's going to be a good one. So that is called the LinkedIn Client Journey: How You Can Grow Leads, Build Trust, and Boost Sales. So it's going to be a good one. So the link to join will be in the show notes and the description. So definitely check that out. So back to the topic, right, which we're covering today is how you don't want to just post content, right? You don't want to, what we say, post and ghost or set up, an automation or a spammy situation where we don't really get what we need to get out of LinkedIn. Okay. Content does not close people, right? Content alone. In fact, I mean, full transparency, we have had people, right, post newsletters, they've shared things, they've been consistent, and they've had people really, sign up immediately for what they're doing or reach out to them. So we have seen that happen. But it's not just the content alone, right? You need to still have conversations. You still need to connect with people. I remember we connected with the creator of Content Chemistry. He's actually the author. Where's the book? Content Chemistry, Andy Crestodina. He's amazing. But he honestly said, if you are not making friends on LinkedIn, you're doing something wrong. So if you are just plain posting a bunch of content, you're expecting to just sit back and wait for people to come in. That's not the way that it works, right? Most service professionals think that, well, all I got to do is just, do a viral post and that will help me bring in all these clients. But the thing is they need to build that trust. They need to know that you are going to be the person who is the best fit for them to hire and work with. And guys, I'm being full transparent right now. AI is leveling the playing field. Okay. We can't get away with just posting every once in a while or, putting ourselves out there occasionally. So many people can go into AI, they can whip up a bunch of information, they can create a sales page, and they can put themselves out there quicker than ever. So, to be honest with you, right, that trust piece, which has always been very important, is more important than ever. Okay, so taking the time to build the trust, to have the phone calls, to have conversations outside of just content is more important than ever. Okay. I was recently revisiting a few things, from the past, and I was revisiting this little book. It's called Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blount. And there's a whole chapter that he talks about social prospecting and specifically using LinkedIn. And the biggest thing in one of his chapters is he talks about the long game. He talks about needing to be consistent with posting because it layers over time and it builds that familiarity. It shows people that you know what you're talking about. But here's the thing, now that we can use AI and just pump out a bunch of information, there's a lot of people who don't really know what they're talking about, but they're putting themselves out there in that way. So, one of the subtle shifts that you can make, right? I want to break this down into three different, shifts. The first one is ditch the plug and play AI generic LinkedIn voice and show the real you, your experience, your stories, your client wins, the successes that you've had, strategies that you've done and maybe they didn't work out, maybe mistakes that you've made in the past and things that you've learned. These are the types of things we want to share. Okay. AI cannot make up. In fact, they do, but they're not you, right? AI definitely can make up fake stories and things like that, guys, but you need to share your experiences. Right? That's where real connection happens. That's when people start to resonate and say, oh my goodness, I totally, resonate with what you're saying. In fact, we've hired people strictly, right? Maybe we've interviewed or talked to several people, but when we look at their content, we're like, wow, these are our people, or this person is just so wonderful. They're fun, they're easygoing. I just know it's going to be a great fit, right? That's a lot of the reason why some people go out of their way and say, look, I want to work with this person as opposed to that person. And I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, I will work with someone who is transparent, who tells the truth, who gives a peek behind the scenes, who isn't afraid to get vulnerable because that's real. I'm so sick and tired of the fake stuff. Okay. It's actually a huge core value of Scott and mine, right? Is transparency, right? We love to share the journey because it's real. We're all in this and we're all looking to do the same things. And why not, share the learnings along the way? So the first one is make yourself trustworthy by sharing the real you. Okay, so get rid of, all the fake stuff and share real stories, right? This could be behind why you started your business, a client win, maybe what you learned in the process, talk about a strategy maybe that didn't work and what you did instead. You can admit a mistake and your key learnings. So these are some basic things that you can do. Now, the second shift that you can make is stop automating and start building real relationships. I've been saying this, guys, for years. When things first started being created on LinkedIn, first off, we know that LinkedIn does not allow, right, automation. It does not allow people connecting for you or tools connecting for you or scraping or, one of actually my biggest pet peeves is whenever people have those scrapers on LinkedIn, it goes through, it grabs your email, and then it sends you an email. Guys, I mark them all spam. It's awful. It's like when someone calls you and you're like, no, I didn't give you my number. I didn't want you to reach out. Stop it. It's so inauthentic and it is not the right approach and it's not working very well. Okay. Whenever we say not working very well, it's like a 0.008, one in like a million, thousand, whatever. But think of how many connections and actual potential clients that could have been that you're burning just to get the one that might work. Okay. So, guys, it's not a smart way to go. You can also get your account shut down. And when you are reaching out to people and it sounds robotic and not real and it feels very templated, uh, you're just not going to get the responses. And where this might have worked in the past, right? Again, it's a numbers game. It's going to slowly, really, actually, not even slowly, I would say fastly dwindle. Okay. So just know that it is falling. So, what you can do is really stand out by, connecting with people, reference their content, say, oh my goodness, like I noticed you're from so and so. Follow up like a real person, not a robot. Okay. Actually connect with them, have real conversation. That's why a lot of times, right, we'll say sales is a contact sport. Because it is, right? We want to have conversations with people. So in your content, let's say you post a poll or something like that, someone shares their thoughts, have a conversation back and forth. Don't try to spam them. Don't try to jump on it and go, oh, buy my thing. No, just have a real conversation, right? The goal is to get that person to connect. And we want to take it really off of LinkedIn and connect with them offline on a phone call. So we want to do this by being real and having real conversations. Now, the third shift that you can make is remembering, okay, that LinkedIn is a networking platform, and we want to engage, right, with people. So, third one is remember what LinkedIn actually is, right? It's a people platform. So, too many people we know treat LinkedIn like they're just broadcasting at people, like they're just appearing, they're saying, all right, this is my billboard. Now hire me, hire me, hire me. That's not how LinkedIn works. This is not why it was created. It's a networking event that happens to be online. Okay, so like I said before, what Andy Crestodina had mentioned, if you're not making friends on LinkedIn, you're doing it wrong. If you are a CEO who says, you know what, I don't have time to connect with 10 people a day, or I don't have time to actually, like or love maybe some big company figures, I don't have time to like their content. Guys, we're talking about a routine that takes less than 20 minutes a day. If you don't have time for that, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you shouldn't be on LinkedIn. The other thing too is we shouldn't outsource these things to other people because these are real connections. If you want to outsource this to your team, you can absolutely do that on a company page. But when we are talking about your personal LinkedIn, okay, I'm talking about like name any of the top, people out there on LinkedIn. Every single person, I don't care who you are, guys. I would give this feedback to the CEO of insert whatever company. If you aren't representing yourself and your personal brands on LinkedIn, why are you even on there, right? You don't want to outsource your voice. You don't want to outsource yourself. In fact, again, this platform was not created for, some bot to be in there answering and interacting with you. And I wouldn't want that anyway. So I would challenge anyone. So spend about 15 minutes to 20 minutes a day, engage with others, leave comments, add value. Don't just say great post, right? You can share your thoughts as well. Whenever you book calls with people, just connect. Okay, it could be a connect call. It does not need to be a call with a specific agenda. You don't need to say, hey, I want to go over my sales agenda or my sales page. No, hey, I'd love to connect and see how we can support each other on LinkedIn. As simple as that. So I'm going to leave you there. Again, the three just kind of circling back, right, is show the real you, right? Be real. Ditch the robot voice, ditch the generic, right? Be you. Two, stop automating connection and start building the real relationships. And three, remember that LinkedIn is about engaging and connecting. It's not just posting and ghosting and, not following through and sending people spammy messages. That is not the point. Okay. So, hope this helped. Again, our workshop that is coming up is all around using LinkedIn to really grow leads, build trust, and boost sales. And it's called the LinkedIn Client Journey, and it's the workshop that we have again the last week in this month. So if you'd like to register, click the link in the description. Hope you enjoyed today, and I'll catch you later.